What a mess! This bombing is an outrage, is it not?
Stop that, monsieur.
Has it occurred to you that he may be dead, Moo?
Oui, monsieur. But I prefer to look on the bright side. Besides, I recall a case where the killer escaped by feigning death. However, in this case, the man is quite dead.
Examine the girl and take her statement, if you can. Et maintenant, to business. Your name, please?
George Stobbart. I'm from California.
And what brings you to Paris, Monsieur Stobbart?
Travel. I'm touring Europe.
You chose well. The city is most beautiful at this time of year, no?
Yeah, I guess so, apart from the bomb blasts.
Were you in the vicinity of the cafe at the time of the explosion?
Yeah, I was sitting out on the sidewalk. I was lucky I wasn't killed. The inspector passed over my remark with no reaction.
Did you see the deceased enter the cafe?
Yes, I did.
Was he alone?
Yeah.
And did he say anything to you?
No, he was more interested in the waitress.
Did you see anyone else in the cafe?
Yeah, there was a guy dressed as a clown. He was carrying an accordion.
An accordion? Bon, the picture is forming in my mind, and it is not a pretty one. Is the girl all right, Moo?
She'll live. She confirms the doctor's statement.
Oui? You did not tell me you are a doctor, monsieur?
No, that's right. I didn't think it was relevant.
Eh bien, I have heard enough.
What do you mean?
I am satisfied that you know nothing. You may leave. Enjoy your vacation, Dr. Stobbart.
What about my personal safety? Can't you at least give me some advice?
What can I say? Stay alert and look out for suspicious characters.
And don't cross the road until the little man shows green.
Great advice.
I honestly believe you are in no danger, monsieur. Should you remember anything of importance, please contact me. My card.
Thanks.
That is all. You may go.
There's not much to go on, monsieur.
On the surface, no. But what lurks inside the subconscious? If the door can only be opened...
Are you serious, monsieur? I thought your interest in psychic detection was purely academic.
The girl presented a confident but sullen mask to the world, an expression more suited to the face of a delinquent youth. Excuse me, mademoiselle? Hi, my name's George Stobbart.
Oh, an American by the sound of it.
Yep, that's right. On vacation in Paris. Some vacation, huh?
You were here when the bomb went off?
Sure was. Sat right out in front of the cafe.
Did you notice a middle-aged man, maybe 60, with a hat and overcoat?
I couldn't believe it. She hadn't even asked how I was feeling. Yeah, he went inside just before the bomb exploded. You weren't related to him, were you?
Oh, no, nothing like that. I'm Nico from La Liberté.
What is that, some kind of nightclub?
Oh, no, it's a newspaper.
You're a reporter?
I'm a freelance photojournalist.
Say, you could interview me about the bombing. An eyewitness account, minutes after the outrage that shook the whole of Paris. You know, real-life drama, human interest, that kind of stuff.
I'll just stick to the facts, thank you. Did you see who planted the bomb?
I know it sounds crazy, but he was dressed like a clown.
A clown? It's him again.
Have you met the clown before?
It's a long story.
I have plenty of time.
I don't.
Who was the guy you were supposed to meet?
His name was Plantard. I didn't know him, but he called me last night. He said he had a story which would interest me. He asked me to meet him at the cafe. I guess I'll never know what he wanted to tell me.
Well, not unless you have Rosso's gift for psychic interrogation. How did Plantard get your name?
Through the newspaper, La Liberté. I'd written an article linking two unsolved murders, one in Italy, the other in Japan. The cases were remarkably similar. A wealthy victim, no apparent motive, and a costume killer. Plantard said he could supply me with more information. Somehow the clown must have known about our appointment.
Do you know a police officer called Rosso?
Rosso? Our paths have a knack of crossing. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was deliberate. Have you seen Rosso? Is he here?
He's inside, attempting to question a witness with his psychic powers.
That guy is weird.
Yeah. I found this newspaper outside the cafe.
That is not a newspaper, it's a gossip rag.
It may have belonged to Plantard.
So, he had a taste for sensationalist smut with right-wing bias. That doesn't tell us much.
There's something written in it. Salah Eddin, 1345.
It sounds like a betting tip. The name of the horse and the time of the race. What do you think?
That's what I thought, but the name of the meeting isn't given.
Well, so what? I'm not the least bit interested in horse racing, are you?
No, but it could be a clue to the killer's next move.
Do you think his next victim will be the jockey? Or the horse?
She looked at me with a playful twinkle in her eye. Okay, it's a long shot. Look, the inspector gave me his card.
I didn't know his first name was Augustin. It suits him, I must say.
Why won't you tell me about the clown?
Why do you want to get involved?
Because he almost killed me. Isn't that reason enough?
I guess so. Listen, I'll give you my phone number. You help me with my story and I'll let you in on what I know. And let's get one thing straight right now. This is strictly business.
Okay, it's a deal.
I have to go develop these pictures. I'll be on phone with you.
Fine. I'll see you soon. The sergeant was a scrawny man in his 50s who resembled a constipated chicken. Sergeant Moo?
Ah, Monsieur Stobbart, n'est-ce pas?
That's correct. You remember me.
The retention of such data is part of my duty as a gendarme. That is how crime is fought, through attention to detail, not intuition.
Yes, sure. I was one of the last people to see the victim alive, Sergeant.
Does that worry you?
Yes, it does. I feel I owe it to him to find his killer.
That is best left to the authorities, monsieur. Did he speak to you? Tell you anything?
No, he just grinned and nodded.
Don't let it trouble you, monsieur. Go home and try to forget.
I know the identity of the dead guy. His name was Plantard.
Is that so? You knew him, did you?
No, but
We'll know everything there is to know about him soon enough.
I'm trying to be helpful here.
The best way you can help us is to go home, monsieur.
What is Rosso doing with that girl?
He is giving her the once-over, as you Americans say. Once he gets his teeth into a case, nothing will shake him off.
I found this in the street, Sergeant.
That, monsieur, is a newspaper, no?
There's a note written on it. Salah Eddin, 1345.
Aha!
That stumped you, hasn't it?
I have never been stumped, as you put it, in my life, monsieur. It is the name assumed by the clown, no?
Salah Eddin the clown? I don't think so. Look, Sergeant, the inspector gave me his card.
Yes, monsieur. He wants you to advise him if you have any information concerning this case.
Well, I'd be glad to talk with him, but I don't want him working his psycho weirdness on me.
Ah, no, monsieur. You are confusing the science of parapsychology with witchcraft.
Oh, yeah? What's the difference?
We don't do sacrifices.
See you later, Sergeant. The clown had fled into this alley, but there was no sign of him now. I was intrigued by Nico and what she could tell me about the explosion. The drain pipe looked as if it would bear my weight. I took a deep breath and prepared to climb the drain pipe. I guess the clown had an escape over the rooftops. I decided I'd had enough of messing with that drain pipe. It was a battered old trash can. It smelled like someone had dumped a truckload of fish in a locker room on a hot summer afternoon. It was a battered old trash can. I'd had it with sticking my nose into French trash cans. It was a plastic crate. There was nothing of interest. It was an iron cover concealing the entrance to a drain or sewer. The cover was too heavy and awkward to lift with my bare hands. Set into the huge gate was a smaller access door. The door was securely locked. It was a battered metal toolbox.
Hey! Stop that! Get away from there! What do you think you're doing?
I was admiring your toolbox.
Oh, eh? Had a good look, have you? I'm warning you, if you touch it, I'll crack your nut.
Okay, I get your point.
Hey! Stop that! Get away from there!
The muscular workman wore a morose expression, like a silent warning to leave him to get on with his job. Hey, you!
I thought you'd been arrested.
Nah, it was a misunderstanding.
When he pulled that gun, ka! I thought that was it. Those automatics pack quite a punch, you know?
He made a mistake. He thought I was a terrorist.
You? A terrorist? Ha!
He was only doing his duty, I guess. Did you see an old guy with a briefcase?
Wait, silly old coot. Do you know what he said to me? Work fascinates me, he says. I could watch it all day. Quel bit. I could have knocked his block off.
Did you recognize the old man?
No. Should I have done? Was he a celebrity?
No, but I guess he is now. His name was Plantar.
Was? He's dead then?
Yeah.
That's too bad. Now I wish I hadn't called him what I did. If only I could turn back the clock. If only I'd been more tolerant.
Regret and remorse are strange emotions. They really bring out the hammiest actors in people. Did you see a clown come by this way?
A clown? Like in a circus?
Yeah, with makeup and a big red nose.
Huh! Those guys are funny, aren't they?
Not in my experience.
I love the circus, especially the horses.
You haven't answered my question. Have you seen a clown?
You think I've got time to watch everyone who passes by? Some of us have to work for a living.
Look, I know you're busy, but surely you'd have noticed a clown.
I told you already. I didn't see a thing.
He was wearing multicolored baggy trousers and makeup.
He'd be a poor sort of clown if he didn't.
Listen, I have to find that clown. He's a killer.
Say, who are you anyhow? A cop?
No, of course not. I mean, do I look like a cop?
No, but you act like one, sticking your nose in where it's not wanted. How do you know this guy's a killer? Did you see him in action?
Didn't you hear the explosion? The cafe was blown up.
I wondered what that bang was. Any bodies?
Yeah, an old man was killed.
Merde. I didn't think it was that serious. What about the waitress?
Oh, she's fine.
Thank the saints.
What's in the toolbox?
What's in the toolbox? As if you didn't know. What's the big deal about tools, anyhow?
They're cool. Tools are civilization.
You don't say.
That's right. Tools are what distinguish us from other animals.
Who are you calling an animal? I've met your sort before. Looking down your nose at me because I'm working class, huh? I've a good mind to knock your block off.
What kind of tools do you keep in your box?
Huh? You really are interested in tools?
Sure, like I said, tools are...
Civilization. So you keep saying.
So, are you going to show them to me?
Am I? Why, you?
Aw, come on. Just a little peek.
I've got work to do. Find someone else to bother.
Do you have a tool for lifting manhole covers?
As it happens, I do.
Cool. Lend it to me, just for a few minutes.
No.
Aw, come on.
No. Get your own.
Let me explain what I'm going to do with your manhole lifting tool.
Let me explain what I'm going to do with my pick.
Oh, hey, forget it. I'll come back when you're in a better mood.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Take a look at this.
You told me you weren't a cop.
Don't shout about it. I'm working undercover.
Who are you looking for?
That's confidential. Would you like to read my newspaper?
I haven't got time to read that. Can't you see I'm busy?
You could read it on your lunch break.
10 minutes is all I get. And if my boss had his way, I wouldn't get that. He'd have me on a drip, so I didn't have to stop to eat.
Oh, take the newspaper and quit complaining.
Pah! Look at this. Damn bleeding heart liberals. Tcha! Save the dolphins. Catch them and eat them, I say. All that fuss over a bunch of fish. Nah, that's more like it. Look at the size of those. Like champagne bottle corks, no? Ah, what's this? Saladin running in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe.
It's a racehorse?
A horse? A legend. Bucephalus reborn, mon ami. Like a streak of lightning she is. Do me a favor, won't you? Keep an eye on my hole. I'm off to put some money on that nag.
What about your toolbox?
Stuff it. Help yourself.
I'd found just what I wanted. A tool for lifting manhole covers. It was a metal rod with a handle at one end and a short crosspiece at the other. I lifted the cover to reveal what smelt like the entrance to a sewer. It was a shiny red plastic ball sat incongruously on the slippery green-slimed floor. As I picked up the plastic ball, I realized it was intended to be worn. It was the clown's red nose. The nose was hollow. Printed on the inside were the words, La Risée du Monde, Paris. It was a bright red plastic nose, part of a clown's costume. It was a soggy, crumpled paper tissue. I scooped up the sodden tissue. It was cold and greasy, like breakfast leftovers. It was the soggy tissue I'd found in the sewers. It was a small scrap of cloth caught on the rusting spike. I took hold of the scrap of material and unsnagged it from the spike. It was the scrap of material I'd found in the sewer.
Hi there.
Hold it right there, you sewer rat. I knew you'd come back, and now I've got you.
What are you talking about?
You're trespassing. Come out of there, immediately.
That's what I'm trying to do. Give me your hand.
Ha! You won't catch me with tricks like that. Keep your distance, monsieur.
Okay, okay.
Now, what were you looking for?
Terrorists. The meanest, nastiest, dirtiest bunch of guys you ever saw.
Englishmen without a doubt. The filthy dogs. The day they opened that tunnel was a bad day for France, I tell you. If I still had the full use of my faculties, I'd march right over there and tell them so.
Well, whoever they are, they blew up the cafe.
What? The cafe? Blown up? Mon Dieu! That is awful.
The guy who did it was a calculating, cold-blooded killer. He was disguised as a clown. I followed him into the sewer, and I think he came this way.
Ah, mon Dieu! Then, the man I chased, do you think that man and the clown are one and the same?
Well, yes, it had crossed my mind.
Ah, that still does not explain what you are doing down the sewer. For all I know, you are in league with him.
Oh no, I'm just a tourist.
Most tourists are content with the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, or the Pigalle. I didn't realize my waste pipes were such an attraction.
Tell me about the man you apprehended.
What is there to tell? He was a typical criminal type, just like you.
Do you know the waitress at the cafe?
Oh, she isn't hurt, is she?
No, she's fine.
Oh, thank heavens. A poor girl like her isn't safe with the likes of you roaming the streets.
Can't you understand? I'm not a gangster. I'm an American tourist.
That's what you say.
Does the name Plantar mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't. Who is he?
The man who was killed in the cafe. I'm gonna find the guy responsible. I'll find him. Even if it means following him down every sewer in every city in Europe.
Bravo! You need some sensible boots. You won't get far in those stupid sneakers.
Was the guy you saw carrying a briefcase?
I didn't notice. Now are you going to leave? Or do I have to call the police?
This is what I used to open the manhole cover.
Just as I thought. You were up to no good down those sewers, weren't you?
One slip and I would have been up to my neck. Take a look at this false nose.
I've never seen it before in my life.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing, monsieur. It's disgusting. What on earth possessed you to show it to me? Someone had emptied their nostrils into it.
Do you recognize this material?
I am not telling you anything.
Perhaps you'd like to take a look at my card?
What is this? Inspecteur Augustin Rousseau? What does that say? Hominoid Division?
A homicide. I think the ink's smudged.
Then you are not a tourist.
Okay, I'm not. I lied to you. And I'm sorry.
Don't apologize, monsieur. You know, I had a feeling there was something different about you. It is your posture, your poise. Oh, yes. There is no mistaking the bearing of a disciplined man. And I should know. I was in the army, you know. When I was your age, I was fighting for my life in the African desert. How can I help you, Inspector?
Tell me about the man you apprehended.
He was a mean one, monsieur. He grabbed me in an arm lock. His face suddenly next to mine. His grip was like iron. But he did not know what he was up against. Oh no! He made a big mistake when he took on one of the desert hyenas.
Yes, I get the picture. Do you know the waitress at the cafe?
You can't suspect her, surely.
Just answer the question, please.
Yes, I know her. Quite well, you could say. She came to work at the cafe 7 months ago. I look forward all week to the relief she gives me when she visits.
Really? So you'd miss her if she wasn't there?
Oh, mais oui! Who else would I find to cut my toenails?
Does the name Plantar mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
Was the guy you saw carrying a briefcase?
Why, yes, it was. Clutched in his arms like a baby.
That belonged to his victim.
Oh, what do you think was in it? Drugs? Stolen jewels?
I don't know, but the killer thought it was worth a man's life.
Nothing is worth that, monsieur.
Does this piece of material mean anything to you?
That is the same cloth as the jacket I found. I'd recognize that pattern anywhere.
Now, about the jacket you found. Do you have it here?
No, monsieur. One of the sleeves was badly torn, so I sent it for repair. A pity, because otherwise it was a fine piece of quality tailoring. It had the tailor's name inside on the label.
Where did you send the jacket?
I gave it to an itinerant Romani seamstress.
Just my luck. Was there anything in the jacket pockets?
Not a sou. You know what I think?
Do tell me.
He changed out of the clown suit and cunningly disguised himself as an ordinary person.
Looks like I'm up against a mastermind. What was the name on the label?
It was a foreign name. Todrick, I think.
Did you get the address?
There wasn't one, monsieur. Only a telephone number.
Well, I don't expect you to remember a phone number you've only seen once.
74 98 08 59.
You're kidding. That's his phone number?
Yes, that's it. A little trick with numbers that I learned in the desert. I was taught the technique by a Tuareg shaman.
That's incredible.
It comes in handy at the supermarket checkout. Do I get a reward?
Honesty, monsieur, is its own reward.
Then I'm glad I do not rely on honesty to pay the bills.
I have to be going. Thanks to your help, the citizens of Paris can sleep a little easier tonight.
Vraiment? I was only doing my duty, monsieur. Good luck, Inspector. I hope you catch that killer soon.
So the clown had escaped into the sewer, come up into the courtyard, and then slipped back into the street here. It wasn't much, but it was more than the cops had got.
Hello? Who is this?
Hi, my name's George Stobbart. You don't know me.
Correct, Mr. Stobbart, I don't. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm trying to trace one of your customers. Could I maybe come over and talk to you?
No, that's not possible.
Oh, okay, forget it. Listen, all I want is a name.
What are you talking about? Who are you working for?
I guess you might say I'm acting in the interests of truth and justice.
Thank God. I thought you were the police.
There are innocent lives at stake, Mr. Todrick. Lives that you could save.
You're collecting for charity, yes?
No, I'm not. All I want from you is information.
Go on. I'm listening.
Do you know a guy called Plantar?
No, I never heard of him.
Shall I tell you what happened to Plantar? How he was killed in cold blood?
I told you, I never heard of Plantar.
I expect Plantar's a family man, don't you? In their little apartment, Madame Plantar is cooking the supper, listening for the familiar sound of her husband's key in the door. Junior is waiting for his daddy to come home from work. He can't wait to show him the merit marks he earned in school today. Only tonight, Monsieur Plantar won't be coming home.
You forgot the puppy.
Huh?
The faithful puppy dog, waiting for the sound of his master's voice.
Well, maybe they don't have a dog. What do you think?
I don't know Plantar. I never heard of Plantar. None of this has anything to do with me.
What do you know about the clown who bombed the Café de la Chandelle Verte?
I don't have no idea what you're talking about.
You're cool, Todrick. But I think you know more than you're saying.
I don't know who you be, but sure I am you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, this is ridiculous. Quit playing games with me, Todrick.
I tell you, I know nothing about no clown.
Thanks for nothing, Todrick. Excuse me, Sergeant.
What do you want now?
What do you suppose this tool is used for, Sergeant Moo?
It looks like something an obstetrician would use, monsieur.
It was with tools like this that the clown made his escape.
I don't understand.
He opened up the hole and disappeared into the bowels of the earth.
If you say so, monsieur.
I found this red nose in the sewer.
What were you doing down there?
Fishing for clues. That's where the clown went.
You still insist you saw a clown, monsieur?
Of course. And this novelty nose proves it.
It will take more than a plastic proboscis to convince Inspector Rousseau.
You don't want this as evidence, then?
Certainly not, monsieur.
Do you recognize this dirty tissue?
No, monsieur, I do not.
I found it in the sewer.
Perhaps it would be better if you put it back there.
No way! This could be an important clue.
If you say so, monsieur.
I believe this material came from the clown's clothing.
If you are right, monsieur, then the clown must be an Englishman.
Well, how do you figure that?
Only the English would wear a suit made from material like that.
Don't you like the English?
It is not so much a question of liking, rather one of taste. They have none.
See you later, Sergeant.
Hello, Nico Coulard.
Hello? It's George.
Ah, oui.
You said to call if I could help.
Have you any news for me?
You bet. I met a witness who spoke to the clown. And I know where the killer gets his suits.
No kidding. Hey, I'm impressed.
You are? Well, it wasn't easy.
Look, why don't you come here to my apartment later this afternoon?
Fine. Where do you live?
361 Rue Jarry.
Okay, I'll come over.
I was used to working alone, but I had to admit it felt good with George on the case too. But there were some things I was going to have to do alone, and fast. I needed the answers to some questions. Who was the costume killer? And why did he murder Carchon? Why did Carchon ask for me to interview him? How did he know my father? And why was my editor so scared? There was some kind of secret war going on out there, but who was on which side? One thing I did know. I wasn't going to get the answers sitting at my desk. My first Teddy. Never had a boyfriend as loyal as him. The box was one of the few things my father left me. The elephant on the lid was a perfect match to Cochon's. The box was carved by my father. It never had a key. I was beginning to hate the phone. All it brought me was bad news. There wasn't anyone that I needed to call.
You have no messages.
No messages for me. It was a photograph of my father, the first one I ever took, with the first camera he ever bought me.
No, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. No, I'm not giving up on you. 'Cause
It was my neighbor, the so-called psychic.
Mademoiselle Collard.
Oh, hello there. Don't tell me I'm going to meet a tall, dark man.
No, I don't think so. Why would you say that?
Oh, just a wild guess.
Anyway, your cousin's female and very pretty.
What?
Your cousin from Marseille. How could you forget her so soon? She was only in your apartment yesterday.
Ah, really?
Such a charming young girl.
Isn't she? And in my apartment, you say?
She let herself in, of course. She's got a key.
Suddenly everything made sense. My apartment had been bugged. That was how Plantard knew all about my article. How did I know? Because the only cousin I have is a sweet little guy called Jean-Marc, who runs a patisserie in Le Touquet. These people were determined, which meant they were also very dangerous. I suppose she'd forgotten which apartment was mine.
Oh, Miss Collard, you're a mind reader. That's just what she said.
Oh, I bet it was. Well, I'd better be going. See what my sweet cousin's been getting up to.
Au revoir, mademoiselle.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
The woman who claimed to be my cousin, could you describe her again?
Well, she was your height, a hair lighter than yours, but otherwise she was very like you. But with impeccable manners, of course.
I bet. Do you know anything about this boat ticket?
No, mademoiselle. I am not a tourist office.
I don't suppose you're any good at unraveling codes.
My beautiful grandmother was a cryptologist for the resistance. But all I inherited were her good looks.
What do you think of my hair clip?
Very nice. One day I might be able to afford one of those, mademoiselle.
What do you make of this message?
It will take you on a journey that begins where it ends. In laughter and in tears, in sadness and in joy.
You got all that from this paper?
No, it's from a song. I heard it on the radio this morning.
Take a look at this cloth.
It looks expensive. Did you steal it?
Well, no, of course not. What do you think of this carving?
It's nice, but I wouldn't flash it around this neighborhood.
Ever seen a safe key like this?
In my business, I don't come across many safes.
It wouldn't be sensible to let her know about Carchon. What do you think of this shell case?
I think whoever stopped that one must have a sore bottom.
I took this stone cylinder from a safe.
Interesting. Let me give you a word of advice. If you ever want to know what is written on it, you should smear it with paint and then roll it on paper.
What?
It's a gift, mademoiselle. I never question it.
Au revoir.
Au revoir, mademoiselle.
The smashed window hadn't been repaired yet. There was just a sheet of flimsy plastic over it. It was held in place by wires. Maybe it wasn't that after all. Maybe it was a cell phone transmitter.
I would be obliged if you did not touch the art, mademoiselle.
Just your average modern art retaining wire.
I told you, do not touch the art. Please do not finger the wires. They are high-tension titanium-coated wires, especially imported from Birmingham, in England.
This guy was either into art or wire, or both.
If they were to become freed, this superb piece of kinetic engineering would topple and fall. At the same time, the force of the recoil would take your eye out. Please do not fiddle with the wires, mademoiselle. I'm sorry, mademoiselle. This is a crime scene and I cannot permit you to pass beyond this point.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Can I ask what you're doing?
I am guarding the scene of a terrible and heinous crime.
Yeah, this statue. Tell me about it.
Au contraire, mademoiselle. This statue is a pure and visionary statement, a comment upon man's self-imposed isolation within a debased societal framework.
Not a crime, then?
The only crime you will find here is the murder of the great Monsieur Carchon.
No. How dramatic.
I know. Here in this very building, no less. It is top secret, but according to Carchon's wife, the killer was dressed as a mime. Police believe there was an accomplice, a young female journalist. Even as we speak, she is being hotly pursued up and down the land. No stone is being left unturned.
Good place to look for a journalist, officer.
We police are no fools.
Evidently. What do you think of this boat ticket?
Mademoiselle, if you think taking me on a boat trip down the Seine is going to get me into bed with you, then you are mistaken. I have been trained to resist women offering boat tickets, and men too. We are up to date on gender issues, you know.
Ever see symbols like these?
Only at the bottom of a bottle, mademoiselle. Ha! You see what I did there? I always find a little humor breaks the ice at a crime scene. Don't you agree?
How would you like a nice hair clip like this?
I must warn you, mademoiselle, that I have been trained to resist such improper advances.
I'd be crazy to show him the paper with the code. What do you think of this pretty cloth?
Wait a minute. What is this? I have seen this before, but where? Of course! Now I remember! At my dear grandmama's. Bless her little dressing table.
What do you think of my elephant?
A poor piece, to be honest. Derivative. Crude. Forget about.
Oh, really? I was just wondering where I should stick it.
Somewhere that doesn't get much light?
That's just what I was thinking. I knew better than to show him a safe key. No. Take a look at the shell case.
My God! This must be from the gun that killed him!
Are you sure? I think it is from an army field gun.
Ah, yes, of course. The size, that's the giveaway, isn't it?
ever seen one of these?
Not since I was a boy. My father taught me how to whittle using a metal cylinder like that.
I bet that kept you quiet.
Indeed it did. I never talked to him again. He died before I finished.
How was Monsieur Cachon killed?
He was shot in cold blood with a gun.
Why was he dressed as a mime?
I have my own theory. Either he was mad, or he was a real mime, trying to throw us all off the scent by cunningly not wearing a disguise.
How long have you been in the police force?
All my life, mademoiselle.
It shows.
Thank you.
You must be quite an aficionado of modern art.
Au contraire, I adore it. In fact, I dabble myself.
Oh, really? I used to dabble myself, but I managed to quit in the end. Why would a mime kill Monsieur Cachon?
He was a hired killer, I expect. Everybody knows mimes don't leave prints.
There was a small door set into the entrance gates, but nothing to say who lived there. The door was locked. It was the kind of ancient phone beloved of French workmen. I was surprised they still used them. I didn't need to call anyone. The drain pipe had been pulled from the wall. Some idiot had clearly tried to climb it. The pipes weren't going to help my investigation. From the stench, the hole obviously led down to the sewers. There might have been clues down there, but I was relieved I didn't have a sewer key. The police had been quick to clear away the wreckage and arrange for the window to be boarded up. There was nothing I could do. The workmen had everything under control.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
I wanted to see the crime scene for myself.
It's too dangerous. I am under strict instructions to stop gossip mongers and vandals from getting in.
But I'm a journalist.
Exactly. Didn't you hear what I just said?
What if I told you I was from the insurance company?
I'd ask for your ID.
Oh.
I told you to keep out of there.
Okay. One thing I'd learned as a journalist: find the weak spot. There was more than a hint of hairspray about this guy. And for a workman, he was pretty well turned out. Hello, could I ask you some questions?
Bit late, aren't you? They already took away the body.
I'm doing a follow-up on this story. Tell me, are you related to the workman I saw digging the hole?
Don't talk to me about flobage. Pah!
Okay.
He just won a fortune on the horses and he won't give me a cent.
Well, it's his money.
When he was broke, he was happy to touch me for a loan. Brothers should look after each other, he used to say. He's changed his tune, now he's brassed up.
Have the police finished with the crime scene?
What does it look like? I got orders to board up the windows, and that's what I'm doing.
So the body's been removed?
I certainly hope so, or it'll stink to high heaven when they take down these boards.
Shouldn't you check?
Are you kidding? They don't pay me enough to put up boards, let alone check for dead bodies.
You see this ticket?
Are you trying to bribe me?
No.
I don't blame you, of course. Good-looking fella like me.
He wouldn't be interested in a substitution cipher. Would you like this hair clip?
What do you take me for? Some kind of a pervert?
Look at this secret message.
Very nice. But it's not secret now, is it? It's just a message.
Take a look at this.
I don't like laissez hankies. They scratch my nose.
I can see how that must be a problem for you. Do you like this carving?
It's the kind of thing you pick up for a couple of euros at Les Puces de Saint-Ouen.
Would you recognize this?
That is the key to a safe. A Warren special, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you know this man?
He looks like a nasty piece of work. I had an uncle who was with the fascists, but we never talk about him.
What happened to him?
How should I know? We never talk about him.
What do you think of my shell case?
Are you in the scrap business?
Of course not.
Pity. I've got some rubbish just like that I need to get rid of.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
What do you think I am? A plumber?
You're doing a fine job.
Damn right I am. You should be writing about me, not that idiot that got blown up.
The heroes who pick up the pieces when disaster strikes.
Exactly.
Well, give me your best smile and maybe I'll put your picture in the article.
Oh, right. Just give me a minute to do my hair.
The police had removed the body, but nothing else looked disturbed. It was a brandy bottle. Some journalists drink on the job, not me. A panel had been blown away, revealing a gap. From this angle, I could see that something had been lodged in the gap behind the pipes. Behind the table were some damaged pipes. There was nothing of interest beyond some bloody debris. Now I'd seen it in the mirror, I could make out something behind the pipes. Voila! The police and forensic teams had missed a vital piece of evidence. Some kind of pouch. On the pouch was the cross symbol of Cauchon's organization. I was on the right track.
Hey, what about my photos?
Oh, of course. How could I forget?
Well, I'm waiting. Get your camera out.
Camera. Oh, I forgot. It broke.
Alors, they should never send a woman to do a man's job.
Well, this woman had fooled him easily enough. And found the evidence the police had missed. Hello?
Yes?
What do you think of this pouch?
Very nice. Takes me back to my posing days.
Posing?
At school. With a body like mine, I was never out of work. I can show you if you like.
I'd rather not. I've only just eaten. Au revoir. On the pouch was the cross symbol of Cauchon's organization. Inside the pouch were two items, a strange metallic artifact and a letter in some kind of code. The artifact had a sword laid across scales. There was a picture of Lady Justice on the locked panel in the room below the conciergerie. Another coded message using the same cipher system. So, Plantard was involved with Cauchon. kill. Murderer must have followed trail from Arno and Yamada. He will come for us now. We must be vigilant. Thierry's girl broke into Pierre's safe. She worries me. Imelda. So much for Imelda's innocence. Plantard was working for her, and for Canchon. But why did Plantard want to meet? Was it a trap? Or maybe he was in too deep and needed me to tell the story, whatever the story was. One thing was clear. It was a story worth killing for. Hello?
Yes.
Do you recognize this?
It looks like a kid's puzzle piece.
Would you like to see this?
No.
Au revoir. The strange metal artifact I found in Plantard's pouch had pointed back to the quayside. Plantard's key fitted the lock, so he must have used this place too. The folders were empty. Someone had removed anything that they thought could be incriminating. A photograph had been torn up. If I could just arrange the pieces. Oh my God, it can't be. There was no doubt about it. It was a picture of my father. Papa, oh God. After what I'd gone through, I thought I could face anything, but not this. My father, the one person in the whole world who I truly admired, standing with Canchon while those murderers carried on with their evil work. My father, grinning at the camera. I couldn't believe it. I realized that I desperately needed to get to the bottom of this story, and that I really needed George.